Hey, Diesel Tech students, welcome to the lab. Today we're going to be talking about the ABS and the brake system. We're about to finish up with our finals, and so today's video is going to be on the ABS system, how the brakes work. The brakes are the most important part of the truck system, so let's get busy and let's check it out. Let's go to the lab. All right, welcome Diesel Tech students. Today we have some students from Mr. Rojas's 112 class, and these students had just been introduced to the brake system, and they had some questions about our brake board. So I'm going to attempt today to give them an explanation of what I know as a senior graduating student this year. I'll be graduating in 2 weeks. I'm explaining to them how the brake system works, and then we're going to ask them some questions later on to kind of see what they learned. All right, so let's introduce our students. We have Daniel Sarabi, and we have Richard from Mr. Rojas's 112 class, and we have Joseph Sarabi from Mr. Rojas's 112 class. All right, so let's look at our brake board here and try to get an idea of what's going on. All right, so if you were a student and you just saw this board, you would be kind of confused and what's going on. All right, so let's go ahead and ask our students some questions about what's confusing them. Daniel, what you got for me?
All right, what I got confusing is the D2 governor. How does it monitor the air pressure?
Okay, so our D2 governor. Well, let me explain the whole entire system. Okay, so this is how it works, and we'll get to Daniel's question in 1 second. So the air is coming in from the compressor, which is the heart of the system right here. Just like our heart beats blood, our compressor beats air for the whole entire brake system. Air comes through the compressor, it feeds down to the air dryer, and from the air dryer, it is going to our supply tank. Okay. Now our supply tank is being monitored by what's called an unloader line, and this line goes to our D2 governor right here. See, the D2 governor uses this line right here to sense what the pressure is in our supply tank. When the supply tank gets to 120, which is our cutout pressure, it sends a signal. There's a little spring in here. The spring goes up, it gets activated, and it allows the air to cross over and unload the contacts for our compressor. Okay. At the same time, it's going to send a signal down to the dryer and tell the dryer to purge out. Okay. So that's basic how it works. Okay. And from there, we got air in supply tank. Then we'll be sending air to our primary tanks and to our secondary tanks. Our primary is going to be for our rear brakes. Our secondary tank is going to be for our front brakes. So let's talk about Daniel's question. Let's look at an example of how this works. I'm going to turn the air on real quick. We've got 120 pressure right here, right? I'm gonna let some of the air out to show you how this works. So I'm gonna let the air out, and what's gonna happen is the air pressure from the supply tank is gonna go down, and the D2 governor is gonna see that pressure going down, and it's gonna want to put air back into the system. So I'm gonna open up the valve, let some air out. As you can see, it's going down. Automatically, the compressor kicked back in, and the pressure back up to 120. The air dryer has purged, telling the compressor, hey, we got enough air here, right? No more air. And that was all monitored off the supply tank. It's very simple how that works. And again, it's just the unloader circuit right here is monitoring the supply tank. When the supply tank gets to 120 degrees, the D2 governor sees that. The little spring and piston up here pushes up into the circuit right here and says, oh, time to unload. The air goes across, unloading the plates right here, simultaneously sending a signal. The same air signal is going down, telling our dryer to purge, and making our compressor turn off. Let's go to another question. Joseph, you had a question.
My question is, what do they mean when they say apply the parking brake or release the parking brake?
Okay. All right, so Joseph's question is about the PP1 parking brake, the yellow knob right here, yellow diamond knob. Okay. I had a really hard time learning this, so I want to explain the way I learned it. What I understand is, this is how I learned it, if I push it in, I'm actually putting air into the system. If I'm putting air into the system, what happens when I put air into the system is I'm putting air into the emergency parking brake. There's a big old giant spring in here, 1,500 pounds. When I allow air to go inside of here, it releases it, it cages it, it squeezes it, and that releases the parking brake. See, a spring naturally wants to extend. And when it extends, we call that the applied position. The parking brakes are on, okay? But once we put air into the chamber by pushing it in, I say pushing in air, pushes the air to the chamber, it squeezes the parking brake, okay? So let's go over here now and pull the air out. Let's see what happens when we pull the air out. When we pull the air out of the system, I associate that with pulling the air out of the parking chamber. If I pull the air out of the chamber, it allows the spring to apply, to expand. Okay, you good with that, Joseph?
Yes, sir.
All right. Next question from Richard.
How do you explain the R12 and R14 valves?
Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the overall system we got here. Okay, we got a bunch of tanks. We got the red lines, got the green lines. First of all, I want to tell you that the green lines are primarily for the rear brakes, and the red ones are for the front brakes. But what happens is that the R14 and the R12, they're nothing more than relay valves. You guys have understood that like a relay circuit works. You send a signal, and this is the solenoid signal. Once that signal goes through, it allows the voltage to go across. One is the control that sends the signal, and the voltage goes across, right? That's the 30, the 87A, and 87, right?
7, yeah.
Okay. Well, the relay valve works the same way. Okay. Let's focus in right here on our. Let's go to this R12 DC valve right here. All right. So my signal right here. So when air comes into my signal right here, it pushes down and allows the air to go through to our brakes. Okay. So we got our signal, we got our delivery ports, and we have our supply port. As you can see, this line is coming from the supply of the primary right here. All right. So air is being supplied in here, and then once we get the signal, it allows the supply air to come across and be delivered to our chamber. And that's all a relay valve is. Just think of a relay valve as the top portion of it. It's got a signal. There's air already waiting there at the relay valve. Once it senses the signal, it allows the air to go on through. That's it.
Wherever passage it wants to go.
All right? All right. Now I have some questions for you guys. All right? Who wants to go first? All right. So, Daniel, I want you to tell me what you learned about this system.
Okay. So first things first, the compressor is the heart of the system. Just like our heart pumps blood, the compressor pumps air for the system. It is, when the air is applied, it reaches a certain pressure called the cutout pressure. And when that hits that pressure, it stops, and it doesn't need to put any more pressure. The pressure comes to this right here, goes into the air dryer, and the air dryer to the supply reservoir, and into our secondary and primary tanks.
Okay.
When it goes into the supply, it monitors the pressure. When the pressure hits 120, the signal comes right here. The signal goes into the governor. It contacts a spring. The spring keeps squeezing and squeezing until it hits the 120 pressure. After that, it comes to through this right here, while at the same time going through these valves. These contacts, simultaneously they close. Coming through this line, it comes through the air dryer and it purges the air.
Okay, so it's doing two things at once, right?
Yes.
The D2 governor is sending a signal and say, okay, I had enough air, right? So these contacts have to unload. And again, this is called your unloader circuit.
Loaders.
Okay, it tells the compressor to do what?
To unload the pressure.
To unload, all right? Let's go. Joseph, you're up. Tell me what you learned about it.
All right, just to clarify, the parking brake, when you push air in, the spring inside it compresses.
Good.
So you're activating the parking brake.
Good.
And when you pull it out, it expands, compressing all the air out. So therefore,
Okay.
you're releasing the parking brake spring inside the parking
So
chamber.
let's be clear on those terms. Apply and release, right?
Yes.
If it's a spring, right? And the spring naturally wants to do what? To extend, right?
Extend.
Is that applied or is that released?
When it wants to extend, you're applying.
Good. So when I put air into it and I compress it, is that apply or release?
Release.
I'm releasing it, right? So I'm releasing it I'm releasing the parking brake, right? Because I'm
Yeah,
caging the
exactly.
spring, right?
Yeah.
Right. Richard, you're up. What did you learn?
I learned about the R12, R14s, how they act as a relay, and how wherever it thinks it needs air pressure, it would guide and open up the ports to allow the pressure to reach whatever application it needs.
That's right. The air is already waiting there, right?
Yeah, it's
So
already
what you're
pressed.
receiving is a signal, right?
The signal, yeah.
That's right. Any questions, guys?
No,
sir.
you
Hey, guys.
answered my question.
Thanks for being in my video. Appreciate it.
No
All right.
problem, Reggie.
Good luck in the Small House class, all right?
Thank you.
Peace.